Okay, class, we're going to go through assignment 4, and it's an Word document you're going to do that's related to that Creative Commons video that I just covered in the last video. So what you're going to do is answer 4 questions in this assignment, and you're going to answer them using images, and with those images, you're going to, hold on, this is Kate. Say hi, Kate. Hi, Kate. All right, Kate, go lay down. Okay, go lay down. With those images, you're going to go through and do the Creative Commons references, as well as going in and writing up 80 words about each image. So I'm going to read through assignment, and then I'm going to show you the blank document I uploaded for you to work with, and then I'm going to show you an example of me answering 2 of the questions on myself for it. So let's read through this assignment. It's one of those ones with part A and B. So assignment 4A is due next Wednesday at 4:59 p.m. By 4:59 p.m. Upload it into Canvas. It needs to be a 2-page maximum Word document that includes the following things. So for this assignment, you're going to turn in a Word document. And look at this thing with the 3 orange stars here on each side. You need to ensure you use proper format for attribution of the Creative Commons images as outlined in video 7 of this course. So in video 7, I went through and outlined the items of how to go through and do the proper format for attribution. You need to follow those steps. Attribution as a footnote, and I'm going to show you this later in an example, but you need to watch video 7 and follow those steps. So what you want to do is start by downloading this document named Assignment 4A Questions, and if you click this link, you'll download the document, and I'll show you what that document looks like because it's a Word document you can then type your answers into. For each question, you need to find a different Creative Commons image. The process to find these is covered in video 7, and you need to find a different image for each question to insert into the document to answer each question. There should be 4 images in total, 4 different images you're finding that are Creative Commons images that you need to write about and reference properly in footnotes. When you give proper credit to the Creative Commons image, you need to use, to answer each question, you need to use it as a numbered footnote. And I showed this in video 7 of how to do numbered footnotes within Microsoft Word. Each picture needs to have its own numbered footnote attribution that is web linked following the best practices for attribution. So again, in video 7, watch that other video for the class, and you follow this link. It goes through of how to do that. When you do those footnote references for each image, 1, it shouldn't be just below the image. You need to move it down into that numbered footnote. And 2, it needs to have the active links, like in the last video. And 3, those active links need to be back into this best practices for attribution format, where you're showing the title, the author, the source, and what was the 4th one? The title, author, the source, and the license. So you need to make those the active links within it. Alright, and there's a little note here, you might have to scale down the image size because the whole document needs to be 2 pages total in Microsoft Word. Each question should be answered with a Creative Commons picture and a minimum of 80 words of text that describe how the picture answers the question. Save the document you've created, upload it into Canvas as your assignment 4A by 4:59 p.m. on Wednesday, February 11th, 2015. So, and then for G, it's part 4A and part 4B like we've done with the other peer grading assignments. If you turn in 4A on Wednesday by 4:59 p.m., you then need to log back in after 5 p.m. on Wednesday, peer grade 3 other assignments, and complete that peer grading before Friday at 4:59 p.m. If you don't peer grade the 3 other assignments, you won't get credit for your 8 points for assignment 4A. Need you guys to go through the peer grading process. So let's look what this looks like. So I'm going to do this by going through that document. So I'm going to scroll back up here in the description. And when you click on this document, what it's going to open, let me see which one it is over here, is this document here. And what this is 4 questions you need to answer using a Creative Commons image for each one, with a footnote link down into the footnote with the active web links that were covered in how to do in the last video, and 80 words of text. It's got to be 2 pages maximum, so you need to size the pictures or wrap the text. Wrapping the text is something that was covered in the Word instructional videos, but I'll show you what it looks like in my little example. And these are the 4 questions. What image best represents a product related to the field you're studying? So you need to pull a Creative Commons image, put it in, give it its footnote reference that are active links, and write 80 words on how that image represents a product related to the field you're studying. The second one is what image best represents the career you see yourself in 7 years from now, and why this image. So take a second different Creative Commons image that you've gone through that process in video 7 to find, put it in, do a footnote reference with the active links, and then write in 80 words minimum why you picked that image and how it represents the career you see yourself in. What image best represents the city or region you want to live in 7 years from now, and why did you pick that image? Similar format, picture, footnote, active link reference, and the words describing it and why you picked that picture. And what image represents something related to your career goals that brings you happiness, and why did you pick that image? Again, a 4th different image, Creative Commons, with the footnote that goes to the active web links like described in video 7, and 80 words describing that. And to talk you through this, to show you an example of what this might look like, I answered it for myself and at least did the first 2 questions so you see. So again, you want this thing to be 2 pages maximum. So in order to do that, I started wrapping the text around the images. So the way you do that is if you paste your image, size it down a little, and then one way to do this is right-click and wrap text, and that gives you different options of how to wrap the text around. I've chosen square here. If you don't know what that is, look up wrap text in Google or in the help in Microsoft Word, or look back at those lynda.com videos about how to wrap text around an image. So let me answer this one for you and show you just a typical example of what I consider full credit on this. So what image best represents a product related to the field you're studying? So I picked this image, and this is a 1965 Ford Mustang engine. This is the V8 one, very awesome. But these are my words to describe it. So I put my image here. You see this little footnote 1 related to the image, and when I scroll down to the bottom, we'll cover this later, you're going to see in the footnote I do that proper referencing, and we'll talk about that again. But let me read you the words at least. This is a view into a 1965 Ford Mustang engine. This image is a classical representation of mechanical engineering because it is a product which combines the key elements of mechanical engineering, design, energy, motion, tolerances, combustion process, fluid flow, and material selection. The engine is modeled mathematically with 3D solid modeling software and physically in laboratories within the mechanical engineering undergraduate curriculum to teach students the basis of designing a complete system which converts chemical energy, combustion of gasoline, into mechanical energy, which is the movement of the engine and vehicle, and electrical energy like the lights and battery within the vehicle. So I picked a picture that represented what I am studying or what I studied a few years back, and described why that picture represents what I studied. And then I have a little footnote there. That's a big thing, is to have the footnote and do it in the active link format that are covered in video 7, but we'll look at those at the end. So I'll just show you another example. So for question 2, what image best represents the career you see yourself in 7 years from now, and why this image? So again, footnote here, this one goes to number 2 because it's my second image. In 7 years, I see myself teaching engineering first-year design courses that encompass all engineering majors in a hands-on project. I chose this image because it reflects my engineering design teaching style, sitting on the floor, engaged at the same level as students, and teaching them through active hands-on demonstration. Part of my career path is research into engineering education, student retention, and the promotion of understanding engineering concepts. Instructing first-year students in the design process and making them aware of all the different varieties of majors and career paths engineers can take would be personally rewarding. So I picked a picture that relates to my career, where I want it to be in 7 years, and described why I picked that one, because that's how I am. I like to get on the floor, I like to build with students, and do little demos when I teach within the engineering courses. But again, each one of these had the footnote reference, so there was a 2 by this picture, a 1 by this picture, and I covered this in the last video of how to do those footnote references. And they need to be that format that was covered in the guidelines that are referenced back in the Canvas syllabus and in video 7. And what these are title, source, author, and license with active links. So title was the title of the Mustang picture, and source are covered in the same thing because I made this an active web link by author, and the active web link back to that author's main Flickr page where I got the Creative Commons image from is licensed under CC by 2.0 is the license for this image. Watch video 7 to know how to do this. It's covered fully in there. Second image, so it's next footnote down, title from the Flickr title of it, the web link to it embedded into the title as a web link, so that covers title and source by author, and a web link back to that author's Flickr page is licensed under, and this was a slightly different license, but I just linked to that license, which is also found off the Flickr page. Can't say it enough, watch that other video that goes through how to do Creative Commons licensing and referencing. And then I didn't do 3 and 4 for you. You guys get the key from 1 and 2 here, but I made 1 and 2 fit on 1 page total because the whole document needs to be 2 pages long. So for 3 and 4 questions, you need a different image with that same footnote referencing on this page for 3, and another 4th image with the footnote referencing that are Creative Commons images. So make sure you do 4 different images that are Creative Commons images with footnote references that follow the format covered in the Creative Commons video format of proper referencing with active web links, and a minimum of 80 words for each one that answers these questions. And that's all you have to do for this assignment. You upload it as a Word document, and you should be good to go on this. So I'm going to go back through here and see if there's anything else. Oh, we'll go through the rubric for grading. So for the peer grading, and what me and the TAs will look at for your grade, are 2 points for each of the 4 questions. There's 8 points total for this assignment. And again, the highlights are for each question, 80 words long minimum, Creative Commons image, footnote used for reference, footnote reference proper format from video 7 with web links. It means you use the same format I referenced off of that Wikipedia page I talked about in video 7, and you made them the active web links that covers the title, the source, the author, and the license. And then 2 points for each one of those for the grading. That's all the 8 points are. So this is a way for you to practice embedding images, doing text-wrapped images, doing proper formatting for Creative Commons, how to find Creative Commons images you're free to use, and to think a little bit more about your career path and start to talk in pictures. So when we get to PowerPoint, you get that feeling of expressing your ideas, not just through text, but telling a story through images. So we're building up to what you're going to do later on for PowerPoint. So that's all I have for this lecture. Assignment 4A, due on Wednesday. Should I have the date right in here? Wednesday the 11th, February 11th, before 4:59 p.m. Turn that one in. Like the other peer graded assignments, after you turn that one in by 4:59 p.m., log back in. After 5 p.m., it'll randomly assign you 3 other people's assignments to peer grade. Follow that rubric, peer grade. You guys have been giving great positive feedback comments of this is good, you could improve on this a little to your peers. I really appreciate that because you're learning from seeing other people's work, and they're getting feedback from a community of people that are their peers. So I really appreciate what you guys are doing with this and the peer grading. You've been taking it well and been putting useful comments to each other in there. So this is the next assignment. Thanks guys, and have fun with it.